Before we start the meditation phase, we usually chit-chat or discuss spiritual or self-development ideas because for us to make a commitment to come out here every Sunday is a lot of effort because we care about humanity, we care about our mental, emotional, spiritual health, that we recognize normally people would do these kind of events once a month because it takes hours to set up. Hours. Why would you do that every Sunday? And we don't charge money. We could just do a spiritual event, collect money, go home. $20 per person. Right? That's more. Because sometimes helping people unconditionally helps them feel God. Because when you pay for it, it becomes a little cult-ish, cult-like. So
Cold.
Yeah, cult-like. And that's fine, but we're here to do God's work. It's called unconditional giving. And we're grateful for our teachers that led us to walk this path. I mean, walking this path, you see most spiritual people, they gain some knowledge and then they want to start a retreat or spiritual event to profit right away, which is beautiful. But oftentimes it disconnects us from connecting with God deeper because we limit that through economy. We limit that because we limit our abundance simply to creating events and everything surrounded where money exchange is the medium. But I'm grateful that this group, our medium is love. Which is why you can leave whenever the hell you want, right? You can come, like that's what I love about our group. You don't have to be here. We don't need you to be here. If you want to be here, you show up. You don't, you go. You don't have to pay. Right? We're not here to convert nobody. We just want people to be happy. We want people to be free from their bullshit. Sometimes we got to be sassy about it, especially when it comes to the summertime, where it's difficult to why the hell are we out here? It's hot. You know what I mean? Like, are y'all crazy hippies coming out here meditating? Well, summertime is when people's mental health starts to go down the drain. The alcohol and drugs increase because we're not coming outside as much because we are simmering our mental health in AC, and then we go out to the bar at night and do some alcohol, mushrooms. We go hang out with our spiritual friends, smoke a little weed, kumbaya, under the substance of the moonlight. Sounds like a good night, right? So I think today we want to talk about the commitment of showing up when the conditions are not optimal. Like, this is not optimal condition. You're like, hey, the weather outside is hot as hell. Let's go meditate. You know what I mean? Nobody says, well, now we're not sitting in a hot sun, but we're allowing our pores and to open naturally without going to Gangnam Spa, right? Or you can go to Gangnam Spa, bathhouse, and we get to be outside when the conditions are not optimal. Because sometimes our life situations are not optimal, like with our boss, with our mother, our father, our spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, or with ourselves. Sometimes our mental conditions are not optimal, but we have to continue to show up for our happiness. So, can you put your headset on? Okay, so Sister Autumn, it's hot as hell out here. Okay, it's not hot as hell, but it's getting there. Can you share with us why, when you're out here and it's hot, and people don't see this as optimal meditation vibes, What is it? What is your relationship with non-optimal environment to practice?
My relationship with non-optimal environment to practice is that it's often when you're in the most uncomfortable situation that you can leverage that discomfort to face it and bring you even more to the present moment. So not only is it hot, but I saw someone that I don't like here. It's none of y'all. And it's none of y'all. It's none of y'all. And that made me feel really uncomfortable because that individual made me feel really uncomfortable. And, and I had to teach yoga. And so my full attention was on my students at that point. I'm like, you know what? I got to let go of whatever this thing is. So I got some flowers. I did a walking meditation to the tree in the direction where that individual was, and didn't even look at them, but just acknowledged that they were there, and then brought the flowers back and brought them to, for me, the Buddha is a symbol of releasing, of letting go, of enlightenment. So I brought the flowers to the Buddha. And that's just what I do. That's just my style. But it's those moments when something's really hard or you have to face something and is very uncomfortable, that level of discomfort is very high. You can flip it to bring you into the present moment. So that's my relationship with that.
Thank you. How about Sister Emily? It's hot out here. I know you love the heat. Can you share with us what is maybe your mental battle, or maybe you used to be like, damn, it's hot. I'm not coming out to this thing.
Yeah, so before I found the meditation group, I would spend my weekends either inside in my living room in the air conditioner, watching Netflix, or I would be going to Sunday brunch, getting mimosas under a patio with Sunday fun day, right? But that just wasn't bringing me fulfillment after a while, because I'd wake up on Monday and feel like crap after drinking all weekend. And whenever I found the meditation group, it was cooler back in October of 2020. And with consistency, I found being outside and meditating with a group and community just helps us ground our energy and helps us refocus back within ourselves, which we don't get very often. And even whenever it's hot outside, kind of like what Autumn was saying, getting out of our comfort zone, it helps us to grow, because life isn't always going to be comfortable on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we're at work and our boss says something to us. How are we going to respond in that moment? And being outside in the heat helps us get out of our comfort zone and helps us with growth.
How about our brother? This is Brother Sean. It's not optimal, right, for a mainstream consciousness. This is when you stay in and watch some sports, maybe barbecue outside and run in and drink your Corona real quick. Or outside, sip Corona, squeeze a little lime. This is a summer Sunday in Texas. What is your relationship coming out here in a dripping sweat?
This is our first summer here in Texas. We've been living on the road for the past 2 years. It's not unlike a summer in the Midwest. It's very hot and humid. Not quite this hot. This would be like the hottest it gets, mid-July, maybe a little bit warmer in the hundreds. But in terms of being uncomfortable meditating, comfort is where we don't grow, in my opinion. So if you can use the discomfort and the distractions that occur when uncomfortable meditating, for me it was the first time I meditated here with you. It was the first time I think I had meditated outdoors, at least in the park like this, not in a more comfortable setting outdoors, like on porch or something like that. So the bugs were just something that I was just like, what in the world am I doing out here? Why am I trying to meditate? I'm just getting bit over and over, not even bit, maybe bit like once throughout the entire meditation, but then just having them crawl all over you just the entire time. And finally, I remember finally just letting go and being like, whatever, just crawl on me, I don't care. And at that point, I let go of the discomfort and accepted it as a means to grow and to improve my meditation practice. So.
Yes, I remember the first couple months that we're out here. I think Autumn was here. We were meditating. I think it was just 3 or 4 people. We had no instruments. It was just 1 hour silent meditation. Mm-hmm. And after months of doing that, we recognized people ain't gonna show up for that shit. But you know, when you're kind of crazy, you just do it. Well, one day we come out meditating and it gets dark and gloomy and it starts raining. Cool, right? We're getting a cleanse. The heaviest rainstorm of over like 15 miles. We're just like in meditation in a like rainstorm. I think it was either under this tree or
It was under this
there.
tree.
This tree?
Yeah, with Lindsay.
And Lindsay, you, I think Katharine was here.
Yeah.
And because sometimes if we don't put ourselves in non-optimal environment, we cannot deal with the storms of life. But when we're constantly coming out or doing things that push us slowly, we're not here to dive into like lava. We're here to walk on a little fire, knowing that we can jump out of it, but we know the fire helps us to grow. And this is why the group began with just crystal singing bowls, and over time, from crystal bowls, it got to Tibetan bowls. And when at first, it was just me, right? And then I brought Tibetan bowls out, the chimes came, and some, the zephyr, the saphir. And slowly, as the group got bigger, all the instruments and more people got involved. But imagine this, we've been doing this shit for 3 years and more, right? Every Sunday. Because I recognize if this works for people, why are people doing it just once a month? If people need this, if you know you have something to offer to the world, it could be tax services, it could be therapy, it can be cooking. If you have something to offer to the world, sometimes you should just help without condition. And the fulfillment that we get from seeing people's faces in joy and happiness. And that's why we're kind of strict around here about not dating, because a lot of people who come here are looking for themselves, but there's people who come here sometimes to date, and we want to keep that grounded, because if you start dating somebody here and it don't work out, you probably won't be back here for a long ass time.
For real though.
Yeah, so that's why I have to say it. It's not like we're just here to guide each other towards our own heart, and it could be distracted because there's some cute girl or some cute guy in the damn group, So we recently have Sister Autumn joining us. She's going to be focusing on more water tools, because your energy is more yang. You have a lot of fire, right? So when we see Brother Sean, he has a more water energy. So you know if you're somebody are you more patient and soft-spoken, or are you more, sometimes you're outside, you're quiet, but inside you got fire. You can't bullshit, right? Because your energy cannot hide, right? The way you dress, the way you walk, the way you speak. And all that we do as a collective is we balance the energy here. So through everyone coming, we start to notice, is the vibes noisy? Are people present? Are people complaining? Is there a bunch of noises around the city? Is everybody peaceful and calm? Are we too comfortable? How are we dealing with the heat? So all the details of how people show up, it shows us what. Sometimes God shows us many lessons, but we miss it. But if we stay still enough and pay attention to, oh look, there's a family there, or oh look, he doesn't have his kids today. Now he's sitting next to a homie on a blanket. So all of that, right? All these details we see, but we don't always say. It's just like, okay, the people who want to be here are here. Because in non-optimal weather, the real practitioners come out. And the people who are just kind of practice sometimes, they only come out when it's a good weather.
When it's comfortable.
When it's comfortable.
If it's
And-
entertainment, you come out when it's comfortable because you want to be entertained.
Yeah. So now, let's talk to you a little bit.